Hello and welcome to a considerably flatter NUFC fans forum. I am joined in the wake of our championship opening day defeat by Ross.
Hello.
And by Simon.
Alright.
Boys, I have one very simple question for you today. What is worse? Is it the crushing disappointments or is it in fact the hope that kills you?
I don't think that it's all that disappointing because I don't think it's that surprising when you look back in retrospective. I know I said would win, so I'm like
that's really
changing myself here. But we don't beat Fulham.
As I said in the
live
yes,
season as well, and also we didn't make very good decisions.
So. No, can I start by getting your appraisals of the game as a 90-minute affair? Ross, you watched it with me. What's been your takeaways and your reflections since the final whistle?
Rafa Benitez needs to play the right players in the right positions. Right,
who was out of position?
You know who I'm going to refer to here.
Go on.
The two ball of the season wizards, Mr. Vernon and Anita. It was ineffective. It was square pegs and round holes for some parts. Jack Colback and Paul Dummett were just, they were them, weren't they? They were just ineffective. They were.
I don't mean to stitch you up like this, but Simon has pointed out that in the preamble before the live stream, you were not confident of Paul Dummett, but assured certainly.
I mean, he's not been embarrassed in the Premier League. He's held his own. Good for him. And I thought stepping down, he would have been more adept at playing at this level, but no, he's not. He's getting lads backing the ball and running around him.
That was absolutely
unbelievable.
That was outrageous.
Did you see that?
Have you seen that?
I did. Yes, I did. Yeah, I said on Twitter at the time that only one player could be skinned like that.
Did anybody come out with it with any credit for you two?
I thought Isaac Hayden played quite well.
Was the only one.
I mean, he lost his temper, but fair play to him. I would as well. If I had Jack Colback trying to do my job for me when I know I'm better than him, I would also be.
I'm saying this is exactly what Vern was doing last season. The start of last season,
exactly.
he was carrying Colback through games. Colback just didn't look fit this time last year, and it's exactly the same story this time.
So we couldn't figure out the starting lineup when we saw the teams initially. I had it down as a 4-3-3. Sky Sports thought it was a 4-2-3-1. The official club had it down as a 4-4-2. As the game went on, it became apparent that it was actually a 4-4-2 with Vernon and Anita on the right hand. Why on earth were we playing Vernon and Anita on the right hand side? What could possibly have been the thinking?
Apparently, he did it against Vitesse.
He did. But he was never particularly disciplined in his position in that game either. He was. To be honest, he was more defensive than he was there, and Janmaat was bombing on beyond him. So I can sort of see the logic of that, but it just didn't happen against Fulham.
Well, Janmaat was pissed as a fart, as far as I can say.
He did look
absolutely awful.
Yeah. Drunker than we were almost in his play.
It was particularly when he was getting the ball just outside their box and just making mistakes every single time.
Yeah.
It was at the end of the game where the referee pulled back that ridiculous advantage, and Janmaat squared up to him like a man who had his kebab knocked out of his hand right before he got in the taxi.
I mean, that referee deserved it. He deserved to be slapped by...
The question I want to put is, obviously, we are the big dogs in the Championship, allegedly. We should have had 2, arguably 3, certainly 1 penalty awarded our way. But we're going to go away to Fulham. We're going to create 1 really good chance, perhaps 2 if you include Gale slipping over. I mean, can you blame the referee for that kind of performance? Can we honestly sit there and feel aggrieved?
You shouldn't. We can feel aggrieved, but you shouldn't have to rely on things like that.
Yeah.
There's 3 chances actually, because Rolando Aaron should not have air shot it the way he did.
No, that was bad. It was very bad.
But yeah, I don't think that you can rely on a referee in any game, regardless of how absolutely bloody useless he is, as he proved during that game. You shouldn't have to rely on penalties. They're a bonus.
So as a takeaway, are we saying we've been robbed by the referee at this game, or ultimately do we have to look at our own performance first?
60-40 were on performance, I think.
Yeah, I would say we should have
70-30 were on
done
performance.
More and not had to rely on it. But it still stings that it comes down to a referee just being an absolute
I mean, if you gave what we deserved, we would have probably come away with a win and would have been having a nice little jolly conversation this morning.
Would have been laughing at Fulham handballing the ball 3 times in the box.
Would have been stadious like, if it wasn't for those stupid handballs, they might have got something from that game.
Honestly, I think it would have been fair to be a 1-1 draw, because Fulham had some really good moments. I was surprised.
They did. I'd say they're better. I mean, I've seen this stuff. We had more of the ball. We had more chances, but genuinely, they had the better chances for me.
Every time Sonny Aluko was anywhere near the ball, they looked dangerous.
Yeah, as somebody, I can't remember who, somebody predicted that we wouldn't be able to live with Matt Smith. I don't know who that was.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Was you, Ross?
Yeah.
He looked fine. He looked a good player.
I don't know. Did he? He looked like
a championship centre forward who we couldn't deal with.
He looked like the front end of.
He was a bit too rough than what those centre halves have been used to, which is surprising because Grant Hanley was at that level last season.
And Lascelles no stranger at the championship.
Exactly,
either.
but I think he was just a bit too much for
Lascelles was taken over by the captain.
The occasion
I predicted
for him.
that he would play really well, and it turns out that he took it to his head. I think me predicting that Grant Hanley is not a pretty footballer was absolutely spot on the money.
In all fairness, he saved a goal.
I thought Hanley played.
Both of them had their moments.
I mean, you are both inebriated, so that's clearly what's happened here.
That tackle one, he clipped
that was the one where everyone was like, "That's definitely a penalty."
Aye.
Well, it wasn't.
But the pair of them, both centre halves, they had their shaky moments, didn't they? They never looked really solid as a pair. But this is the thing. You look at Norwich. You see the football Norwich played at the weekend. Absolutely stupendous against Blackburn. They were ticky-tacking it about.
Yeah.
But that's a squad that's been together for a year now. We're still integrating 8 new faces, aren't we? So it's going to take a little bit of time.
Exactly.
I asked at the end of the friendlies how much we could read in to this good run, this unbeaten run, these pre-season games, and you told me matter-of-factly nothing. It's too soon. Blah blah blah. One game into the championship now. How much can we read into that? Anything or very little?
I mean, if we'd won 5-0, I would have been doing laps of the office. And saying we'd won the league already.
To have seen it.
Slow ones. But no, I don't think so. Like, if you looked at all past seasons at Newcastle's first game of the season and predicted where you'd come from that game, you wouldn't get it right ever. The only time we ever started the season well was Keegan, 10 out of 10. It was the only time that I remember anyway. I mean, we drew with Tottenham, didn't we? Which isn't too bad. But other than that, it's always a slow start. We'll always get better. We're always going to gel this season. Be better than we would in the first game when we've got that many players starting.
I missed who it was, but somebody very kindly sent us a little breakdown of all the previous championship winners and how they've gotten off in their first couple of games. And with the exception of a handful, including ourselves the last time we went down, it's all been defeat, bad run, takes 5 games to get going. And then eventually
was it Redden who got beat off Plymouth on the opening day of the season and they got 106 points?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's just a slow start, isn't it?
It's deflating though. It's deflating because this is the first really positive pre-season we've had. We've got Rafa in, we've got good players in, and then first game everyone's really up for it. And you can see on the live stream our faces go from like this at the start of the game to just heads in hands by the end of it.
I imploded on Twitter.
Not like you.
I know. Yeah. And it was quite a lot quicker than usual as well.
What was your implosion?
It was just about Paul Dummett, I'll be honest. It was just 90 minutes solid of abuse at Paul Dummett.
Well,
I don't at him. I haven't got to that stage yet.
Coward.
But I will at some point.
I
don't know if he could read.
Can't read the ball.
Exactly. There you go. See.
Obviously, the main issue is we have Huddersfield Town at the weekend. What do you change? What do you do differently? Or do you not? Do you just let the team... If that's the team he believes in, should he give them another chance to go out there and sort it out?
If that's the team he believes in, he should be sacked immediately.
No, he needs to drop Callback, move Vern to the middle, play Aarons, and move everyone across one. Richie on the right, Aarons on the left, Perez and Gale. That's what he's got to do.
As a 4-2-3-1.
As a 4-2-3-1. This 4-4-2 nonsense didn't work the other night.
No.
It needs to be changed.
Simon, are the changes you need to make purely tactical, or does it need to be a mindset change? Or
I don't think there has to be a mindset change. I think there's a fundamental problem in playing Ayoze Perez and Dwight Gale in the middle because they're exactly the same kind of player. But we can't solve that problem, I should say. Solve that solution. Because Mitrovic is out. You have to play Mitrovic and Gale or Mitrovic and Ayoze, or put Ayoze out wide. That's the only way that can work. Because in the Fulham game, I thought it was quite telling. You didn't see... Ayoze was supposed to be playing deeper. You didn't see him pass the ball to Gale. Like, he didn't link up with him.
He ran beyond him.
Yeah.
Quite well. It was a 4-4-2. I mean, for all
exactly,
it was, that's how they were both played up top together. Every time we tried to release players in behind the defence, it was either Gale or it was either Perez.
And then you're sucked into a position where Gale's trying to win headers and hold the ball up, and the kid's 3.5.
But I didn't like that whole mindset, that style of play.
What did you say?
I don't want long balls.
I hesitated in saying it. I had 5 cans, whatever. But it reminded me of an Alan Pardew team. We had players playing out of position. We had no real fluency to a play. We had crosses that weren't beating the first man. We had awful set pieces. It was just now. It was just like being back in those dark days, wasn't it?
For watching Williamson lump the ball up to Papa Cisse,
exactly.
Grant Hanley to
take Mike out and put Grant in and replace whoever it was up front in those days.
I mean, for me,
Remy
it
and
Papa Cisse.
was just awful when
soul.
Richie went to take a corner, and you've got a guy who's already proved that he can whip a ball in, put it anywhere he wants without thinking, and he takes it short. And then we lose the ball.
Wait, Perez was the one. Why did we have him on set pieces and corners and stuff? I think it's a deeper thing in it with Newcastle at the minute. Just away from home, we go into our shells, don't we? At home, we'll look like world beaters at times, and then we'll go away from home, and everyone just cowers out of it.
How do you address that?
I think a lot of the issue for me is that Jack Colback plays two different ways. As much as I don't want to say that he's a key player, I think that he's a key problem if he's playing really badly. And he plays badly away because he doesn't know what to do. Like at home, you tend to see him higher up the pitch and he's sort of looking for something to do on the edge of the box, as long as Newcastle are playing well anyway. But away, he just does this thing where he finds the closest Newcastle midfielder and just tries to copy what they're doing and doesn't add anything to the team. So to go back to your question about how to change it, I also say drop Jack Colback because he didn't play very well. And he shouldn't be on the pitch next game because of it. But I would play Hayden. I would play Diarmi because he's creative and had absolutely nothing.
We had a focal point, don't we?
And I would put Anita in the middle as well. Not necessarily. I'd put him at the front of the three.
It's
maybe.
Perfect three in it. You've got Hayden sitting and breaking up. You've got Vern recycling everything, and you've got Diarmi
getting the sprinklers on.
Oh, they were stupid. Them two balls. Anyway, Vern gives it and gets it quickly to Diarmi, and he's off. He's running. I think that's and then it's a three that works well together. I think,
and I have much more faith in Diarmi being able to give the ball to Ayoze and Gale if we're going to play that sort of system and have them both on the pitch. I don't know whether I play Aarons because I know he's the only option we've got on the left, and that means Richie can play on the right, which is I don't know why he didn't play on the right in the first place because he cuts inside and shoots. That's great. But if you put Aarons on, he looks great, like running at people, but then he's not all that successful getting past them, and I don't know if I've seen him put a ball in the box. If he is to add anything, he's getting fouled, getting free kicks. Which
he definitely
is
changed it when
he
came
made
on
a difference when he
did,
came on.
Yeah, because he's direct and people are scared of people running at you. That's the same as why Sissoko is suddenly the world's greatest player because he runs at people.
We'll get on to Sissoko in a bit.
But his end product's not really there at the minute. Playing him against Huddersfield, I'm not getting no disrespect to Huddersfield. It might be different because you might have more confidence.
Huddersfield had a very good result the weekend.
Well, I've been reading up about them. They've made 12 signings from the continent. Cosmopolitan, now words of that ilk I was reading about them.
Cosmopolitan Huddersfield.
They've got this German Wunderkid up front. Wunderkind.
Wunderkind.
Whatever they're called.
Wunderkindergarten.
Whatever they're called these days.
Not that we're making excuses ahead of the inevitable defeat of
it's just we kind of take them lightly is what I'm saying.
No,
they're not the stand turned into Huddersfield Town of old.
Well, for all we did joke, honestly it was a joke, about how we're going to win every single game this season. If you actually look at Rafa's pre-match comments, he's very sort of his guards up. He's not like, oh well, we're going to go there, we're going to do. These are good sides we're playing. It's never going to be easy. And then he's echoed that again with the post-match comments by saying,
look, losing that game is the most Newcastle thing that could have happened. Everybody in the whole country's like, Newcastle are going to win every game in the league. Look at them. Let's all laugh at them saying that. We haven't said it. They've said it, and the media have said it.
We might, yeah.
I haven't said we're going to win every game in the season. I said we're going to win that one.
I think we'll win every game. We'll win every game from now on.
I think we'll win every home game, which is fairly bold. Or we'll not lose any home games anyway.
Did we lose any last time?
No,
this other day.
Unbeaten. I think we lost 4 games, and like I saw somebody on one of the accounts saying that Brighton lost 5 games last season and didn't go up, and that's terrifying. But it's just daft. Like
football's
extrapolating your whole season based on that one result is just pointless. Don't do it.
Is there any room for you for Shelby?
Not after that.
He didn't make much of an impact on me when we were watching him.
However, he came on the other night.
Some of our
his passes. Sorry.
Some of our more learned colleagues have actually put together a few graphs and stuff. And when he came on, he made a world of difference in moving the ball forward.
He did.
Not that you noticed,
But he was also kicking people and moping around the pitch.
That's the thing. It's the moping. He runs around like the world's on his shoulders.
He was embarrassing. You're 1-0 down. You've been brought on to try and get something from the game, and you're sorry for swearing, but you're niggling at people, kicking them and stuff. It's just you want something better than that.
So no, then.
I don't know. I like to think that he's a good addition, but I don't think he's in that first.
I do think him, Hayden, and Anita working as a 3 would be excellent. But then Diarmi, exactly. Yeah.
He needs sat down on a naughty step, does John Joe, just a good 5-minute cool down. Rafa needs to sit him down.
Time out.
Yeah.
I imagine Rafa will blast him.
Here's one. There is a player in the squad who wasn't included on Friday who could potentially make a difference. If he's still here, would either of you play Moussa Sissoko?
He would have added some creativity to that game, I would say, if he was playing in the
Would he?
If you put him on the right and kept Richie on the left, then he would have.
His lack of effort when playing in the Premier League was
notable.
But what would he have done in a Championship game?
I'm talking specifically about that game and the context of that game. Sissoko wants to move away. At the minute, he's getting mothballed because the club's like, oh, we want loads of money for you. If he wants that move, he has to try and recapture what he did in the final of the Euros. Put him on Fulham, would have run his lungs out. He might not have created anything because that's his whole shtick, isn't it? He doesn't create. But he would have advanced the team. And Aaron's advanced the team and changed it when he came on. If Sissoko was on doing that from the start, it would have been great.
So I agree, because you just look at that Tottenham game the last day of the season. There was absolutely nothing to play for. But there he was, putting in a performance that we've never seen since about his debut, that's the thing.
So, yes or no? Would you, if you
absolutely
start 11?
There's no way he wouldn't have made a more positive difference.
Over Aaron's?
In the squad?
No, next game, starting him, I would start Sissoko over Aaron's.
Where would you play him?
Right mid and put Richie
on the left. Yeah. And who makes way for you then? Would you still have Diarmi in?
Aaron's didn't start.
I know, yeah, but I wouldn't have Jack Cole back on. I wouldn't have. I'll just play 12 players.
Hayden, Anita, and Diarmi.
Yes.
Sissoko.
Richie, Sissoko.
Interesting, very interesting.
I don't know who that is cut out.
Callback.
But I've added 2 players.
And Perez.
There you go. Yeah.
So you don't count. As well as the selection issue for Sissoko, he's also made more comments. As his entire thing this summer has just been making comments. Very much in the Robbie Keane mould of all these clubs he really wants to play for. What do you make of his most recent words to the press?
I think he's a gobshite, basically, and I think he's always going to be a gobshite. I think it's like Michael Owen when he was trying to talk up that his career wasn't over.
He hasn't bought a brochure out yet, though.
That's true.
That would be.
It's only a matter of time. I think I don't really care that he wants to leave anymore. I think he's become a bit of a parody of himself, but it's disrespectful. To be honest,
it's desperate, is what it is.
I definitely don't think he cares.
No, I think it's desperate. I think it shows that there's been. I mean, the club have said there's been no actual offer made for Moussa. They've had inquiries, sure, but nobody's actually put their money on the table yet. And we've got 3 weeks to go with the transfer window. It's still a long time, all things considered, but
could watch that.
It's got a date on it.
All right,
it's got a date on it, and I can do maths. A long time to go. 3 weeks is a long time in the transfer window. Ultimately, things can happen very, very quickly. But let's say it is a deadline move for him, and that's all that comes of it. Panic. The club finally relent. Fine, we'll take 20 million. Having 20 million from him is better than nothing. Yeah. That's 3 weeks. How many games have we got in those 3 weeks?
Yeah,
5.
5. Yeah. I wouldn't drop him because of what he said.
Well, he's not in this team. You can't drop him.
No, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have dropped him because of that. Although, was it afterwards?
It was Saturday morning, wasn't it?
Preemptive strike by Rafa the Magician. Did you see that? He did the graphic thing again.
Did he? No, I missed that.
Sports, yeah. Yeah, I just think there's no place for pride on our part when
at Newcastle United ever.
We need to get going, and I think Sissoko.
He needs to join John on the naughty step. He does. Rafa needs to sit the pen down and choose.
You're quite a disciplinarian, Ross, aren't you?
He just likes that secret nanny program, special nanny that sits people on steps.
I've not seen this.
I don't know what.
Neither of them. Really. Yeah.
That's where the naughty step comes from. Super nanny. That's what it is. Not special nanny.
No, the naughty step's been around for years,
generations.
Well, not for me because I was a good lad.
But I just think you're under contract, Moussa. Lift your lip up off the floor. What's this? What am I trying to say?
I just think that he needs to pick his lip up. Is right.
Right. You're under contract, Musa. Pick your lip up.
And do that.
Aye.
Look, there's going to be people who say, well, he's French, he's going to do that. I think
racists.
I know exactly. I think it's Johan Kabai's situation proved that it's not really the best way to go.
Would he go on strike?
From what?
I don't
He's
know.
not playing.
He needs to but he needs to be bought, and I think going on strike sets a bad precedent, especially when you want to go somewhere. I think Sissoko is probably doing this because he's haunted by the fact that he knows that Tony Pulis has a job, and if there's 3 weeks, then Tony Pulis has got 3 weeks to put his last minute bid in and get him at West Brom. That's what's going to happen. And he's terrified of it.
Hands on heart, where's Musa Sissoko going to be on the 1st September?
Everton.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was Everton, but
Champions League for you, you miserable bastard.
I actually think he'll be at Newcastle.
I think he'll be at Juventus. I don't know why. I just do.
I suppose if Pogba eventually
I just do. I think if you think the money Juventus are going to get for Pogba, they can have him for a third. Transfer wise, I mean, as I say, there's 3 weeks left. Is there anybody you go in for?
Right, we'd definitely need a striker. We'd definitely need a winger. I
would buy Jordan Rhodes if it was up to me.
Is he available?
Weren't going to play him.
I don't think he would be.
He only signed 6 months ago.
I'll be honest. I think Middlesbrough are too good for him in the Premier League. I think they've made too many good signings for him to be part of their key plans.
It's true.
What about Super Davy Nugent?
I think that says it all, to be honest.
We're still linked with Peter Crouch in my head.
Yes. No, I don't want to do that either. I just want somebody who's a traditional centre forward.
What other areas of the squad do you think need addressed, transfer window wise?
I would quite like to have a left winger.
A left winger?
A left winger.
Yeah.
A both-sided winger would be nice.
Yes.
Let's
somebody
get
swap with
Iron Robin. Let's go inside.
Yeah, let's just get Iron Robin. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if Iosi Perez was the one that was going to get put on the other side and let him do it, because when he's played out wide, he's been a reasonable player. In the Championship, he should be absolutely pulling the pants down to defenders on the wing, but he can't play number 10, and he can't play just off the shoulder of another centre forward. It's just not his game.
Perez aside, though, is there anyone you would be keen to bring in specifically?
I'd like Wes Hoolahan. Is who I'd like.
He's just signed a new contract.
I know, but I'd still like him. I don't care about.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I wasn't asking realistically.
I would or go with his mate Robbie Brady. They're both exactly the same sort of player. But I would be amazed if Wes Hoolahan, regardless of contract, is still at Norwich on September the 5th.
Have you seen the football they played on Saturday at Blackburn?
I haven't, because I'm
going
to be painfully ignorant of the rest of the Championship this season.
They've got the goal of the season so far from about 30 yards. That's their opening goal of the season. And then some of the football they played was absolutely stupid. I'm scared of them. I really am. They could be, if we continue like we did on Friday, they could be a good 10 points ahead of us come October time. Well, that September.
By the time we get our proverbial fingers out, it could be out.
Well, that September, we've got an awful September, haven't we, fixture wise.
Mm-hmm.
So we could be. I'm not saying we are, but just Norwich. I fell in love with Norwich over the weekend.
Any other positions? Even though they've got a third kit that looks like a bus seat.
I'm a fan of Retro Prince, me.
Yeah, me too.
Can't knock them.
Any other positions?
I'd like a left back. Please.
We've been linked with Brendan Galloway at Everton.
Anybody's better than Paul Dummett.
Anybody?
Swear to God.
Would you?
Masaido Haidara?
I'd like Haidara, yeah, but Haidara has 2 problems. He has the fact that he has a worse injury record than CM de Jong, and also he has this knack of skinning 2 players and looking amazing, and then just chinning the 3rd player.
Yeah.
Even if he's still got the ball, he just stamp on the other player and just like.
He's got an awful first touch, I think.
He's got a puppy.
Always putting himself in danger with his first touches, Masaido.
But I think he's better than Paul Dummett.
So we've got 4 players who can conceivably play at left back, and you think we need to go get another one?
I wouldn't mind Anita playing there.
Are you Alan
5
Pardew?
5 players who can conceivably play at left back then, and you think we need to go get another one?
Probably. Kieran Clark is probably cover for centre half.
He is, but he can't play there.
I would play him at left back ahead of Paul Dummett. Anita is a midfielder.
What's the pecking order of those 5? What's the pecking order?
Everybody and then Paul Dummett. That's what it should be.
It's not, though, because Dummett's first choice, and then I'd say it's Jesus Gamez, and then Haidara, and then Clark, and then Verne if you need.
I think Gamez will play
next week.
More games
this week.
Dummett will.
Okay. Centre midfield. Anybody want to get centre midfielder?
I'd like to see someone brought in who can put their foot on the ball and put a pass in. Because I think Diarme can play that behind the striker, the cam.
The cam.
But John Joe's that man. I just wish he brighten up. He can put his foot on the ball.
Your whole life ahead of you, John Joe.
So all we need to win
I
the
know
championship.
you've lost your hair, but there's more to life than hair.
All we need is John Joe Shelby with a party hat on, essentially.
Or buy him a wig. Make him feel good about himself.
Exactly. You can say that as a man.
We just need
thick, luxurious hair.
nice curly locks.
Came out on the live stream. They used to have 2 racing stripes in the side of his
Yes,
hair.
I saw that bit. That was just before I left.
Yeah, 2003.
I used to as well. I had 2 down this side, 1 down that side, and I had 2 in my eyebrow.
Oh
that's
my
too
What
far.
an
word.
absolute douchebag.
And on that note, thank you very much for joining us for a far humbler, more sombre,
Still gonna win the league, though.
We are, of course we are, aren't we, Ross?
Passion.
Passion, lads.
Not
Gotta
Jack
get
Paul back on Paul Dummett passion, just to qualify that.
Not nightclub in Sunderland passion.
No.
That's
Yes.
now called illusions.
Oh, there's some poetry in that, isn't there?
That's some fine nights in there.
Thank you very much for joining us. I have been Adam. I'm joined as ever by Ross.
Been a pleasure.
And Simon, again, with his opinions.
The ginger one who talks rubbish.
Gonna get that on a t-shirt.
Oh, he takes the comments to heart. Throw them his way.
I've been Adam from NUFC Fans. We shall see you Saturday, probably.
Please remember to like, share and subscribe.
Yes, you've missed that. He didn't.
You didn't.
You didn't?
I did.
You f***ing did.